Welcome to the First Look Seminar. Gino Bacola, we will be previewing the Late Pick 5 on Saturday, October 25th, closing weekend. And we will make it quick. Obviously, some people will join in to watch this replay later, but the Dodgers have just started. It's in the top of the first as we talk.
Man, it's such a cool time in the calendar year to be a sports fan right now when you've got World Series starting. If you're a basketball fan, NBA just started the last week, so you're getting those first week of basketball games. College football is rolling right now. We had another really fun game last week, SC Notre Dame. That was a good one on TV. They were scoring back and forth, heading down to the Breeders' Cup next week. So, I mean, there's everything going on if you're a big sports fan right now. And don't forget about this weekend, closing weekend. So mandatory payouts and everything on Sunday. That includes those the wagers that connect Santa Anita and Gulfstream, like the Sunset Six and the Coast to Coast. So if you were thinking about playing on Sunday, now you have to be playing on Sunday because there's going to be a mandatory payouts in all those pools. Georgie, it's a great closing weekend.
Yeah, hopefully the ideal spot would be if there's a carryover tomorrow, then to Sunday. That's the perfect scenario. We almost had one today, but very exciting. Sports everywhere. Great poker in New York. Just ask Chauncey Billups. Great poker games in New York as well. So a lot of stuff going on.
I love it. All right, well, let's go fast and furious, gentlemen, because I know you boys are watching some Dodger game coming up. Well, it's already, like we said, going to the bottom of the first. We got 10 races tomorrow. We are going to do the Late Pick 5, as we spoke about. So, Gino, let's start with you. That would be race 6. Now, this is one of those
new
ratings handicap races that we are starting now. If you want to briefly explain a little bit about that, and then we'll go into who you like.
Yeah, so all these horses now are given ratings based on their recent performances, and it's not necessarily like the class level they were at. It's just kind of an overall assessment of their form, and they want to make these races as competitive as possible. So you could see this particular race is for 3-year-olds and up, which have earned a rating number of 79 to 70. You'll see some of these horses have been at tougher levels, maybe not as successful. Then on the flip side, you'll have horses that are kind of stepping up from softer companies. So it's hoping that we can get these real competitive races where everybody meets in the middle. You'll see a couple of these for the first time at Santa Anita on Saturday that actually filled. I think there was a few that they tried to fill last week that didn't, but these ended up filling. So we'll have some in actually races 6 and 7 back to back. I thought the 2 Chappie in here was really interesting, cutting back to a dirt sprint. If you look at Drop 'em, this is a horse who was very good early on in his career. He actually crossed the wire in the first 3 starts. He got DQ'd in one of them. I think that the key for him is just sprinting on the dirt. You look, once they started to go a little bit longer, I think it's just farther than where he's at his absolute best. He was a mile on the turf last time. He was 7 furlongs on the dirt 2 starts back, and that wasn't a bad effort when he was 3rd in the Real Good Deal. You go back to the Echo Eddie where he's 2nd. That's at 6.5. That's probably a little farther than where he's at his best too. So I think cutting back and putting 2 starts together for horses like this, who obviously have some physical issues because they just can't really string 3 or 4 races together. Anytime they can put 2 together, I always like them in their 2nd start back because I think they're just going to be fit. They're going to be ready to show their best. So I think cutting back, I'd love to see this horse sit in 2nd or 3rd. I'll probably be pretty chalky in here, Chappie, to start. I'd probably try to get out of this with 1 and 2.
Yeah, Georgie, I figured obviously the form went off a little bit on the 1 Tapalo, but that was also at Del Mar against Open Company. Like Santa Anita a lot. What do the sheet numbers say on the 1, including the rest of the field, George?
Yeah, the one's last 2, as you can see, but it wasn't great, an 11 and an 8. Drop 'em though, his last dirt race in the Real Good Deal, by far the best thoroughgraph number. He ran a 6, which would crush this field. And I think another key for me personally is the horse that beat him last time, Maz, is running in the grade 2 right before.
Yep.
So love to see how he does. If Maz does really well, and Maz is like 20 to 1, is going to be 21, then to me, I'm just going to upgrade Drop 'em's chances. But Drop 'em, I'm probably singling Drop 'em. I mean, my second choice is Last Call Zonlo, who's got a 7. So he's got some strong numbers. So, but in all honesty, I think I'm going to be singling Drop 'em, and hopefully I do a mic drop.
And Georgie, even if you look, when Drop 'em and Last Call Zonlo faced each other a few starts back, Last Call Zonlo was 40 to 1, was well beat in the Real Good Deal, and Drop 'em ran 3rd that day. So if you're just comparing the 2 of them, Drop 'em's already shown that he's a little bit better on the track.
Yeah. And another thing before we move on it certainly looks on paper that Tapalo drawing the rails got to go.
Yep.
And last call, Zonlo has a ton of speed.
Yep.
So it could set up a perfect trip for the two, drop them from just off the base. That's what certainly looks like on paper. So big push for the – what's that, Georgie?
Tapalo's taking his hind shoes off. What is that? That's an equipment change I don't see too often.
I had no idea.
Tapalo will race with hind shoes off.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm not.
That's a rarity. All right. Well, I'll have my shoes on tomorrow. I know that.
Yeah.
Georgie, we're right back at it in race 7, 6.5 furlongs, one of those ratings handicaps again. But this time, we're going down the hill, my friend. We always love the downhill course. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I usually like outside runners in this, and I'm pretty much going to go with the inside runner, Lunar Impact. His last race, I'm just putting a line through it. You know, these things happen. But prior to that, he ran a 5, he ran a 3 in Stakes Company. Hector Barrios is as good as it gets. So I like him. I like the 4, Miss Lizzie, and I like Spicy Bug. So pretty formful.
Yeah, Gino, and probably not too much to get creative with here in this second leg.
This might be a race where I try to lean on because I think those are the 3 horses. I completely agree with George. I think a lot of people are going to play those 3. If you could separate with one of them, right, or even 2 of them, you could get some, you could get separation. You could have a lot more bullets to fire later on in the rest of your pick 5s. I'm going to single the 6 Spicy Bug on the outside.
I was considering that, right?
Because I just love the 6.5 for this particular mare. I mean, honestly, if you go through her form overall, if you toss the races right before she has a long layoff, because it seems like she's had a couple of layoffs right after a physical issue, and then look at the race going long. She went long last time. She was fine second, but the other race going long on the turf was in the San Clemente behind Anna Sett, multiple graded stakes winner at that time. One of her other losses was to Future Is Now, who's one of the best turf sprinters right now going. So she's going to go 3rd start off the long layoff. She's going to cut back in distance. She's never been down the hill, but she looks like it should hit her right between the eyes with her running style to just sit really, really close. I might try to single her in a race where I think people will try to go 2 or 3 deep because George is right. Those look like the 3 logical horses. I feel like a lot of people are using them. I'm going to go to Spicy Bug. I mean, looking at Vibes even, who she lost to last time, Vibes came right back, won the swing time next time out with a 90 by her speed figure. I think she's in a good form right now.
And she loves Santa Anita, 3 wins and 4 starts. If I will probably do 2 tickets. I will single Spicy Bug on one of the 2 tickets. So, all right, let's move on to race 8, which would be the 3rd leg. We're 62.5 claimers here. Gino going 6 furlongs on the dirt. What are your thoughts here in leg 3?
For this kind of a race, a dirt sprint at the low level, it doesn't seem like there's that much early speed in here, right? I think a lot of horses that aren't necessarily right to the front horses. So one that I like and I definitely want to use to the outside is Danzig Cat, the number 10, because this horse is taking a pretty big drop down in class from 20,000 non-winners of 3 back down to these 62.5 claimers here. And if you look 2 starts back, just had a brutal start, completely missed the break, never got into it. And every other race, what you see is speed from this horse. And there's not a whole lot of speed in the rest of the field. I think the outside draw might even force her to go a little bit more. So I'm using Danzig Cat on top. I think she's, the horse to beat. After her, it gets a little tricky because there's a lot of other horses that I think are kind of similar. I'll mention one that I probably will use because it's 6 furlongs. That's the 4, Chiapina Pasadena. I don't think this horse is as good just going a little bit shorter. You can see she just wants to come running a little bit later in some of her more recent races. I think the blinkers on will kind of help her out a little bit and just get her focused a little more early. So I'm going to use the 10 for sure, the 4, Chiapina Pasadena, and then the others are kind of logical depending on how deep you wanted to go.
Georgie, I'm right with Gino there. My top pick is actually the 10 as well, Danzig Cat, for the exact reason he said speed-wise. Which seems to be lacking. By the way, 1st and 3rd with 2 outs in the bottom of the 1st for Toronto. And George, back to you. What do the sheets say here as we give a play-by-play? Hopefully nobody's taping this, watching this, and then they don't do that anymore, do they? Not. Never mind.
So on Santa Anita hoy, this is my best bet of the day. And so obviously I'll be singling this one. Number 2, Arousing Babe. Arousing Babe's thoroughgraph numbers at Emerald Downs, and I think they compare favorably, are infinitely better than everybody else in the race. I mean, the 67 buyer, but it ran 11th. Nobody's run even close to an 11. And Blaine Wright is a really, really good trainer. He really is. Look, he's winning 16% this year. And that mare has a touch of class. She's been running against, 20,000, 10,000, 25,000. She's got class. She's definitely got speed. She's got the best thoroughgraph numbers. That last one, she popped and stopped, so I'm going to forgive her that. But she's my best bet of the day, and I think she's going to take him wire to wire. And I think it could be a rousing exacta with the 2 and the 5.
Well, Gino, we always talked about real quick before we move on. Races like this, they're tricky, they're difficult. When you can get a single like that in a race where no one else singles and you can get a separator, those are the days where you can have some really big scores. And I like the fact that George has taken a stand here with a horse, especially shipping in from Emerald Downs.
Yeah, this is a wild card. Completely agree, George. I had the horse pick 3rd, and I think this is a race where a lot of people are probably going to go 4 or 5 deep. So you get that separation right here. Win or lose, you're making the right call gambling-wise, right? The one thing that we can do every day, and I've tried to get better at this as I've gotten older, is I can always make the right wagers, right? I'm going to have some bad trips some days, some bad luck, some unlucky things, but every day I can look and say, okay, this will be the best price. This will be the way you should put together a pick 4 or pick 5. I can do that at least. It's not always going to work out, but if I do that at the end of the day, I know I did my part.
I was 10-5 too, so I had the horse 3rd as well. I like the aggressiveness, Georgie. I love it. All right, let's move on to race 9. This is the 4th leg of the pick 5. We're going 10,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime, 6 furlongs, Georgie. What are your thoughts here after you get your single home at a nice square price?
Well, there's 14 horses in the race, and I'm going to try to use 15 of them because, it's really – I can't figure this race out. I like Kitten in Charge, Chuck Treese off the claim. Looks like a decent claim. The horse has been, he's run some good ones. Lobedell Lake, I'm definitely using Lobedell Lake, going to Saavedra for the first time. I like that. I like the way DeMuro's riding. He's got a nice bullet work on September 24th. Self-sufficient, of course, you got to use. He's dropping from the sky from 50,000 to this. He could either win this by 10 or come in last, in this field. Who knows? And Herrera is doing good, but this is a wide open race. I like the 9, the 11, the 14. I can't figure this race out.
Yeah, tough race with me too, George, for all the same reasons. And Gino, obviously, the 11 is the big wild card, right? Dropping, not too well, 2 back, but still had been facing much better. Do you have anything you could make of this scramble of a race for us?
I might try to get out of here 2 deep if I can with the 11, and the other one I'm going to use is the 8, Targaris. So this horse is actually a pretty good fit at the level. The last 2 races were just against better, 25 non-winners of 2, and actually showed a little bit of positional speed, but the horse got hooked really wide and then just backed up, drew an outside post. 2 starts back, was at the Sweetwater Fair in a stakes race, didn't really fire that day. Look at the race 3 back at Del Mar. That's against open 16 claimers. It's a really good effort running second. Like something like that would stick out very well in this race. I think Targaris makes sense. What I like too is that he has a little bit of early speed. When they ask him, he can sit close. He can actually pass horses too a bit. So I think the 8 makes a lot of sense. I think the 11 is the one that they'll all have to beat in there. And then after that, I mean, it's really tricky. Like George was mentioning, horses like No More Ding Dongs and Last Call Paul, they fit, but it's tough to trust those horses who have had a lot of chances. Like Last Call Paul has got 8 seconds and 6/3. It's a lot of runner-up efforts to try to put that horse back on the win end. So I might try to get out of here 8-11 if I can.
Yeah, I love doing this show with one eye on the TV, watching.
Right, looking back and looking over.
One eye with you guys is Blake Snell's got 24 pitches in here, but they're battling here with first and third, 3 and 2, with 2 outs here. All right, last leg, Gino.
This is about the most trouble that he's been in the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
This one inning. He's been
Yeah.
really, really smooth all the way through. So
now we got the bases loaded, boys, with 2 outs. And Gino, last leg, 6.5 furlongs down the hill once again to close out the Saturday. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I'm wondering on the outside if Tina Turner is simply the best, better than all the rest. Or, I mean, we could have gone, what's love got to do with it? But simply the best made a little more sense as far as the horse race is concerned. Tina Turner on the outside there, I think is obviously a logical player. Tina Turner is going to come down the hill. The dam won on the turf. 3 siblings won on the turf. She's super logical. A horse who I think will actually float up a little bit that I wanted to mention is the one, Princesa del Tigre, because if you go through her recent races and you watch some of the replays, she pulls a little bit when they're going long. She doesn't really want to sit off and pass horses all that much going long. I think cutting back to 6.5 will help her just sort of go. They can kind of let her loose and not have to really grab a hold. She can run her race down the hill and hopefully be sitting 3rd or 4th, but just be kind of running comfortably. So I definitely want to go inside and outside in here. And man, you will hear me belting out Tina Turner, Georgie, if we can get her home to close things out tomorrow.
I don't even know if you want to sing some Tina Turner. That was pretty good there, Georgie. What are your thoughts here?
Well, my runner, I think, is going to start out slow, but then it's going to get rough. And so I'm going with Tina Turner as well. So I like Tina Turner. Lone Race was good. Everybody runs the same exact paragraph number. It's just impossible. I'm going to use the 5, the 7, the 8. And hopefully I'll be rolling on the river of money.
There we go. I mean, Maya Kama is logical, right?
Right.
Like I didn't mention Maya Kama. Yeah. She's logical. I'll probably be those 3, 1, 5, and 8 on the outside. But man, I was having fun. I was looking up some Tina Turner songs earlier on. I was like, she's got some jams. I kept going through. I was like, there's another one that I know. Okay, Tina, there we go.
I like it. I think this is a tough race to close it out. But gentlemen, I know you got your eyes on the game, and we got the eyes on the prize, which is this weekend. He got out of that bases loaded jam, so we're going into the top of the second. Gino, close it out. Tell us everything going on this weekend. We got a lot happening here at the Great Race Place.
Don't forget your last 2 chances, Saturday and Sunday, to play in those free Pick'em contests. So just go to the Santa Anita website or go to pick'em.santanita.com. You can win $500 just by answering the 12 prop questions. Do that Saturday and Sunday. Don't forget about the big tournaments. There's a BCBC qualifier tomorrow at ExpressBet. If you want to get into that big tournament next weekend, you still have a shot tomorrow at ExpressBet playing the Santa Anita races. So see if you can qualify there, and you'll be playing for huge money next week. We got you set up for that late pick 5. Don't forget about the coast to coast pick 5 and the Sunset 6. Another big weekend as we close it out here and get ready for the Breeders' Cup.
No question. Well, gentlemen, it's been a heck of a meet. It's not the end of it, but for our preview shows, I guess it is till after
7 weeks
Christmas
or so, right? Yeah.
So appreciate the time as always. For Gino, for Georgie, I'm Chappie. Good luck, everybody, this weekend. Have a great closing weekend, and we will see you next meet. Thanks, guys.